quickly introduce Synapse for you all. Synapse is the Socio-Linguistic Society of the IIT Madras BS, where we regularly organize discussions, debates, and events covering a wide range of cultural, historical, and contemporary issues. If you're not already a part of our community, we invite you all to join the Synapse Society and be a part of this wonderful community. Now let's move on to the rules for today's session. Can we get the rules slide? Okay. So the medium of discussion is strictly English. Every participant will get 3 minutes to present their views. This group discussion also serves as the round one of the extempore competition that we are organizing. Your performance here will influence your selection for the next round. Raise your hands, the host will call your name, and then you can start speaking. Stick to the given topic, support your viewpoints with facts, logic, or credible sources. No personal attacks on any individual, religion, caste, or political identity will be tolerated. Be respectful towards other participants and let them speak. Do not interrupt them while they are speaking. Wait for your turn. Even though you disagree with them, just try to wait for your turn. Okay, and then we can start this discussion.
Vivek, kindly join by IMID, please.
Okay, so start raising your hands and then I'll call out your names. Okay, yes. Thakkar,
Hello, am I audible?
yes, you are. You can speak.
Thank you so much. Uh, my facts and my viewpoint is against the statement, very respectfully, that the idea, see, technically, if we see the idea of colonization, why would a country want to acquire other country? The If you see the gray area, it is all about that country must have some resources, something that is surely not present with us. And if you see the history, let it be British, let it be the Mughal history, or any of them, the idea of colonization have started with exploitation of the host country. When British rule started, uh, if we think like, see, in terms of modernization, isn't liberalization a part of modernization? But when there was liberalization in the colonial, if it was, then why were there boards of the fact that Indians and dogs are not allowed? Right. There have been sources, trustful sources, where we have seen that lot of our income, lot of our wealth was taken away. So if we think that there have been statements like the railways have been given by them, so why don't we ask ourselves, railways were not created to benefit Indians, it was created to benefit the British imperial rule, right? So any effort made in the time of British or the Mughals have completely exploited us, starting from the wealth system to the education system. They have destroyed all the roots and tried to inculcate their own mindset to us. And not just that, while leaving, they left us with a bloody, I mean, not the word, but the distribution of the country, where we got two neighbors who are completely against us based on a religious ideology. So it is tough to point out certain points where we can proudly say that, yeah, the colonized rule tried to uplift us. They never worked on social stigmas like child marriages and the caste one system problem. So to if we summarize it all, just for sake of less time, if we summarize it all, colonization, the concept itself, is of exploiting the host country and then never think about benefiting them. In case if some of the policies benefits the people, then it's a different case, but they don't have the idea of benefiting the host country. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, just for you guys, when you start speaking, just try to introduce yourself by telling your full name so that we have the record. Okay. Okay, so the next participant is Shurabhi Shukla. Go ahead.
Oh, hi everyone. Good evening, everyone. My name is Surabhi Shukla, and I would like to carry forward the strong point raised by my fellow speaker, and I too stand firmly against the statement that India modernized because it was colonized. Let me ask you this: do we really believe that a system built on exploitation, discrimination, and destruction can be the foundation of modern progress? So colonization didn't modernize India. It stalled our natural evolution, silenced our voices, and cripple our potential for almost 2 centuries. And uh, as we know that we were already a civilizational power with profound knowledge in science, medicine, mathematics, and governance. So no need to anyone will come and modernize us. The concept of zero, surgery, metallurgy, water harvesting, and even town planning existed long before any colonial power arrived. So how can we say modernization came because of colonizers? And let's not forget, we are Indians. We are people who have always known how to rise even in the harshest of the times. So we didn't need someone to make us modern. We only needed our freedom. Okay, yes, we adopted English. We adopted railways, but that's because we were intelligent and adaptable, not because we were given intelligence by Britishers or so-called colonizers. So if we give a sharp mind a new tool, we will use it to grow. That's what we did. And we must give credit to Indian minds, not colonial hands. And what kind of modernization was that anyway? A system that led to the Bengal famine, where we all are aware of that, like where million died while grain were exported. So a system that divided us by religion, caste, as we know the policy of them, like divide and rule. So they divided us by religion, caste, and region to keep us from uniting. That's not modernization. That's manipulation. So, in my opinion, real modernization started after independence when we wrote our own constitution, built our own institutions, launched ISRO, like open IITs and AIMS, and built a modern economy with our own vision. And we are the third super economy right now. So according to me, modernization is not just about technology, it's about values, dignity, and self determination, all of which colonization try to take away from us as we aware of it. So, no, we didn't modernize because we were colonized. We modernized because we are resilient, because we are brilliant. Indians are brilliant, and because we believe in our ability to shape our own future. So, and last thing is that Britishers came India to exploit resources, as my fellow speaker already mentioned, not to modernize it. So that's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Surpi, for your opinions. Also, all the next speakers, whenever you speak, try to stick to the time limit, that is 3 minutes. And also, you will be given us the second chance when this first slot is completed. Then you will be given a second chance. So then you can speak your opinions again. Okay. Next candidate is Priyanshu Sharma.
Hello, my name is Priyanshu Sharma. I am with the point. I am inside of the point. India is modernized because of the British rules. Being on the point, modernization is doesn't mean we gave you intelligence or something like that. I say modernization is a philosophy. Like what philosophy? Like being rational, being scientific. You know, being on the side of Indians are suffocated between world systems, different religions, and systems like sati pratha and all. And Britishers came to give India a structure. India is totally divided into diverse parts. We are not talking about the intelligence part or anything else. Indians are intelligent. I'm not on that point. But what is modernism? Modernism is like that you have a philosophy that is rational, that is on side that putting you for progress. Like Indians are too much in old beliefs, old systems. And what Bhagat Singh says in his book, Why I'm an Atheist, he says that to be progressive, we have to go through all the old points and take a look. Are they reasonable? Are they reasonable in today's time? So, being on the point, modernization is a philosophy that being rational, being scientific, giving a structure, giving a system. That's like democracy is a system. Democracy is like British says influences it in India. And also there are points like railways and urban infrastructure development, telegraph, postal systems. These are also developed because of British. There is exploitation because their intent is exploitation. I'm not talking about the intent. There is no intent of Britishers to develop India, modernize India. But the influence of modernization in India came from the British rule or say European influences. Thank you. That's all.
Okay, thank you, Priyanshu. We have next Pashala Anjani Kumari. I hope I pronounced your name correctly.
Yeah, yeah. Hello, everyone. Good evening, everyone. I completely agree with the three speakers that have spoken about uh, against the topic. Let me introduce myself. I am Anjani Kumari, and I'm currently in the diploma level. I also want to speak against the topic. I don't think colonization led to modernization of India. Before the colonizers arrived, India was not a blank canvas to be painted. It was already a masterpiece in progress. Let's look at the definition of colonization. It means that looting a country by power and taking the control of the country, often by force, and exploit its resources, people, and culture. Right? Definitely, Britishers didn't come to India like, okay, we are modernized enough. Let's modernize this country. They came with the purpose that we have to loot this country. This country is so rich in culture and so rich in spices, whatnot, philosophy. In every field, we were booming until colonizers arrived. Britishers arrived. They were with an intention that we are a barren land. Nothing grows in British, right? But whereas India is a very rich soil where everything grows, spices and everything grows. Definitely, they didn't had all this, so they wanted this. So they came to India and looted everything, right? They didn't come with an intent. Okay, we'll modernize this. And if you look at the state of India when colonization happened, India went through so many painful transformations during colonization. India lost its sovereignty, it became a colony of the British, um, economic exploitation. India was just a mere supplier of raw materials for the British. The zamindari system, heavy taxation. There were so many changes in India, for not for the good. Let's take a look when India really modernized. India really modernized post independence. If we take the time period from 1947 to 1990, India inherited a colonial and agrarian economy with widespread poverty and low industrialization. Right? India started rebuilding itself after independence, and real growth took place after economic liberalization, which was in 1991. That was way after 1947, right? And after that we adopted technology in 2000s and 2010s. India modernized itself on its own without taking the help of any other country. India was sovereign enough to grow on its own. The statistics tells us about how India's situation was during colonization. They of course they bought railways. They bought it for their own good, right? They didn't do it for India. Yeah, this is it. Thank you.
Thank you, Anjani. We have next Yajneshni. Go ahead.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Hello, all. Good evening. I'm Yasnachni, and I am here to speak against the topic. I speak that India did not get modernized just because of the Britishers. The point is, yes, Britishers were a part of India when we were in the path of modernization, but that doesn't mean that Britishers were the sole reason for India's modernization. The speakers who spoke before me had highlighted how India had modernized after British rule and how India started modernizing in the modern era. But what I wanted to highlight here is it is not that India's modernization started only during the modern era. It was right from the ancient Indian time. So we can get examples from Indus Valley civilization and since then to present day. So, even in the rule of Cheras, you would have seen about the use of Oats iron. It is actually its original name is Uruk. It was transformed into oats, and the iron will be the steel will be very sharp. That in the sword there will be minute, very minute, sharp ends. So if the ruler is using that steel during war, the enemy cannot withstand the attack. And that was in turn, it was then adapted by later rulers and the kingdom of Mysore, like Tipu Sultan, then even Shivaji. Everyone made use of this technology of making woods iron. So this is just one example. Even when, yes, we were somewhat backward when the British came, but that doesn't mean that the whole of India was backward. For example, we had a lot of visionaries who were ruling India at that time. For example, Tipu Sultan and we had Hyder Ali. What they did was they had set up embassies in foreign countries for India to fight against the British. For me, according to me, modernization is not just about the technological development; it is about the vision, the way of thinking, and the long term or the far-sighted view that Indians had at that time. So Hyder Ali and Tipu Sultan, they went to the extent of creating or setting up embassies in foreign countries like Arab countries and all to fight the British rulers. And even it was Babur who used gunpowder and all to fight his enemies. And Hyder Ali and Tipu Sultan, they had rockets which was iron cased. That was also used against the British. So this is example how Indian technology was advanced even before the advent of British. And the intention of British was obviously to plunder us, and it is very well mentioned by Dadabhai Nauroji in his book The Poverty and the Un-British Rule of India. That he was a moderate. Moderates were not very much against the British. They were like kind of they supported British to some extent, but they were not against them. But he himself, in spite of being a moderate, he just gives the points how British had deprived us of our wealth, and there comes the drain of wealth theory and all. So, as one of my previous speakers rightly pointed out, our actual modernization after British came was during the agricultural revolution, and we have the Mysore kingdom helping to set up HAL. It was set up in Bangalore, and these are just some examples. So I would like to conclude that it was not just British who helped India to get modernized. They were a part of during that period, and the whole credit goes to Indians only. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Yajneshni, for your strong opinions. We have Gopal Krishna next.
Hello everyone, thank you for having me. Honorable judges, if there is any, esteemed opponents, and my fellow truth seekers. Let's not begin with it. I want to carry forward the arguments against the motion. I will start. My point is, let's not begin with India, but with England in 1600, a small island of coal merchants and sea pirates. When the British came to India, they did not came holding philosophy books. They came with charters and cannons to trade spices. Yes, but mostly to trade power. And the only thing they intended to modernize was their own economy. So when we are told that colonization modernized India, let's ask, did they sail across oceans to uplift us? Or did they came for cotton, indigo, opium, and taxes, and vowel spices? Let's not confuse accidental leftovers with intentional gift. India got modernized the way a city gets Wi-Fi because a rich company opens an office. It's not for the city; it just happens to catch the signal. Historically, India has been a very major part of world economy. It's not for nothing that Indian Ocean is called Indian Ocean, the only ocean in the world named after a country. Indian merchants, mariners, etc. were sailing all over the world and trading, and we were the engine of world economy. Till about 1,000 years ago, one third of world economy was India. It kept declining. Even then, we were very large part of the world economy till about 1820s. We had 23% share of global GDP, second only to China. Uh, then we, after 1820s, we declined so fast that by 1847 we were down to 4%. We had thriving textile export from Dhaka to Venice, shipbuilders, yards in Bombay, and trade routes to Southeast Asia and Africa. But after colonization, we became raw material supplier and importer of machine-made British goods, and our share of world GDP fell to 4%. And with arguments have we got suits and railways. Wearing wool in tropical countries is not modernity, it's discomfort dressed as dignity. And those railways built to extract, not connect, to move troops and cotton, not communities. And the legal system designed not for justice but for order and obedience, rule of law that protected colonial officers, not Indian citizens. And English education, Macaulay openly said that aim was to create a class of Indians who were born in brown in skin but British in taste, and the goal was not enlightenment; it was clerical efficiency. And one of our opponent, Priyanshu Sharma, argued about caste, etc. So yes, sati was banned, but not because the British woke up morally one day. It was Indian reformers, Raja Ram Mohan Rai, Sir Chand Vidyasagar, who pushed for it. The British simply signed the law. Yes, Indians learned about democracy, but not from British gift, from British betrayals. We learned the value of freedom by being denied it, not by being taught it. If colonialism modernized us, then perhaps slavery modernized Africa and apartheid modernized South Africa. Colonization was not a development policy, it was an economic project with moral disguise. India was modernized not because we were colonized, but because we survived colonization, resisted it, and rebuilt ourselves. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Gopal. It was wonderful to listen to you. And next we have Chandan Kumar. Go ahead.
Am I audible?
Oh, yes, you
Am I
are.
audible? Okay. Okay. So, uh, good evening, everyone. This is Chandan. I hope you all are doing amazing in your life. Before I share my thoughts on the topic, I'd like to say thanks to the Synapse Society for conducting this meeting, where people like me get a chance to overcome the fear of public speaking. And I must say this: you people have been doing amazing work. So please keep it up. Coming back to the topic, India was modernized. India modernized because it was colonized. Let's break it down. What colonization gave us? Railways, which was built to move troops and raw materials, but not people. Roads and ports, which were again built to move goods for their own benefits. Education system, which was designed to produce clerks but not critical thinkers. Exposed to global economy, which was again for their own benefits. modern legal and bureaucratic system which were not designed with the with with the intention to have justice for all people. In a nutshell, colonization gave us nothing but took away everything from us. It took away our Gurukul education system, which was focused on holistic learning. It was more it was more focused on developing the character of students and inculcating some good values inside them. They took away our wealth. India was once known as Sone ki Chadiya. We held 25% of the global GDP back in 17th century. They took away our Kohinoor and now they charge to have a glance at the same Kohinoor which was once ours in a British museum. They didn't just loot our gold, they looted our gyan. They demolished our temples, they burned our scriptures, they took some of them to get, with themselves. They they banned our Sanskrit schools and they made us believe that English knowledge was superior and English learning, traditional Indian learning was worthless. They didn't even stop there. They partitioned our country into different parts. I think we would be we would have been in a completely different position today if we were not colonized. We would be the greatest, we would be the most powerful country across the nation if we were not colonized. So, so this is what I think, and most of our previous speaker talked about it. So, so that's all. I may share some points later on.
Okay, thank you, Chandan. Also, to all the next speakers in line, try to be in the time limit so that you get a second chance to speak and also counter the facts being presented by other participants. So the next participant is Vivek. Go ahead.
Hello, good evening, everyone. This is Vivek, and thank you, Divyansu, for giving me an opportunity uh, to raise my view on this topic. So, so I want to be neutral on this topic actually because, like, when we think of our kings, like in these questions you have asked, this is mentioned that what if we uh, like extended the king rulers. So like when we think about our history, our kings were always fighting like each other, and they are not focused on development or progress. They are like fighting for acquisition, for land acquisition. And I think if that uh, if India was not colonized, it will be on several parts nowadays. Like we have living in one India, but if kings were there, we were not living in one India. We have multiple kings in there. So this is my first point. And like yes, we say that we are sone ki chidiya and we have multiple resources. Yes, we have. And I also want to counter the fact my previous opponent given that we have gurukul system which British has uh, removed and something like that. That gurukul system is for like brahmins only, the elite families and elite varna, not for all. The Sudras still facing same, like they are working hard and getting nothing. Like all the resources were used by elite families, elite culture, elite varnas only. And this is the case of and also about education, it's the same. And talking about the development, yes, like British introduced modern infrastructure, railways, uh, administration system, their governance. And yes, they have like we carried they carried all the culture they were pursuing in India. And this is like good for us actually, because we are facing a lot. Like Arya Samaj was found by Swami Dayanand Saraswati. He's also like his goal was also the same, that India will grow the social society, socialism, and women empowerment, and all the things he was talking about. But came with like, what to say, like, British came at very large scale actually. And yes, they exploited our resources. Yes, I never said that they never exploited. They exploited us. They ruined our local industries, our handloom, our raw materials. They all supplied it, they supplied all the materials from us, all resources from us, and take away from our country, drained our wealth, imposed unfair taxes like that. And like, yes, they exploited us, but yes, they modernized us too. We have if they were we were not colonized, we were not living in one India, and we were not having this much modernized, and maybe it will take some time. We have lots of money, but still we have faced, like, we will not adopted the socialism and women empowerment. That is my point. Thank you.
Thank you, Vivek. It was wonderful to listen to you. We have Himanshu Shenger next. Go ahead.
Am I?
Yes, you can speak.
So, good evening, guys. Myself, Manshu Sengar. I am from foundation level. So, India, saying India is modernized because it got colonized, it was because it is like someone broke your leg, then gave you crutches and claimed you learned to walk better because of them. Okay. So, according to me, modernization has nothing to do with the British rule. And if there is any modernization because of them, it's just coincidence for their need. They do everything for just exploitation, for just extracting the material from the India to finance their industrial revolution. And the whatever today you see the city like London, Glasgow, the money of Indians are stuck in these cities. Okay, so today, whatever their economy and whatever they are doing just because of Indians and their separations in Africa and other part of the world. In 1700, India contribute 24% of the world GDP. This is, I think, a single fact that is sufficient to carry the idea that we are doing previously very good. Okay, and the example like Bengal famine is just example of how the British exploited the Indians. And whatever I focus on today, leave the past. The today's many problem, Hindu-Muslim conflict, whatever just are the outcomes of the British divide and rule policy. They divided Bangladesh and Pakistan, especially Pakistan, then Bangladesh. And today the problem with China, the unsolved border with China, are the part of British because they don't solve at their time. So we are dealing with it, and it is a major problem. Also, that I will say neighbor like Pakistan, which block our passage to Central Asia and all, is the many problem of the, and the other problem I will say the mindset for the people like Vivek, very good that he say the because we got modernized because of the Britishers. So just you can see his argument, you can very well get an idea what the mental damage of the society Britishers has done, and it reflected today also. So yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Himanshu. Also, next we have Anjani Kumari. Go ahead.
Yeah, to add on to what I've said before, let's look at the other side of the coin. What British gained from India? British, economic expansion, it grew manifold, right? From economically, politically, strategically, from their control over India, right? Um, it built railways and telegraphs and everything, to move troops and goods efficiently for their own advantage. Indian soldiers fought for Britishers in British wars in World War One and World War Two. So if you look at in that way, British got more benefit from colonization rather than we Indians. We Indians were thriving before colonization and we were thriving after colonization post independence. Britishers didn't do anything, they just looted us, right? And uh, it was just self-serving for them. Indian economy was crippled, it was not modernized. 45 trillion dollars of wealth went from India. An estimated 45 trillion dollars of wealth was looted from India, right? We didn't gain anything. And when it comes to industrialization, that does Britishers industrialized us. Though Britishers were thriving through industrial revolution, the real industrial revolution came in India after Jamshedji Tata, G.D. Birla. They established industries in India. It didn't came through colonization. All the growth happened post independence. We cured from the colonization. We came after colonization. Our growth began after colonization. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Anjani. We have Shiva Mahika Edagala. Next, you can speak.
Good afternoon. Thank you for giving me a chance. This is actually a wonderful opportunity. Someone who fears speaking in public. Okay, so let me start. Today I'm here to present on a topic: was India modernized because it was colonized or not? To begin with, the colonial rule, especially the British, did bring certain aspects of modernization to India. Like we cannot ignore the fact they got extensive railway network, introduced telegraph lines, postal systems, modern administrative institutions. The legal judicial systems we use today were shaped during the colonial times. Even social reformers like Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Ishwar Chandra were themselves influenced by the Western education to fight against regressive practices like sati and child marriages. So yes, infrastructure and education saw a push during colonialization, but let's not forget the other side of story. The British did not modernize India out of goodwill. Everything was done to serve their own interest. Railway was not built to connect India but to transport raw materials to ports and factories. In Indian industries, especially textiles, were destroyed to reduce competition with British goods. Farmers were forced into cash crop production, leading to food shortages and famines. And uh, now India mostly faces problems of diabetes 1 and 2 because of the famines, because of a gene were reduced, changed in a way so that we can survive starvations like that. So it was mutated, which was an effect of the famines. Education was limited to a small group, only creating clerks that served a British bureaucracy. Colonization caused economic drain, cultural erosion, and loss of self efficiency. India's rich indigenous knowledge system and industries were sidelined and destroyed, and Indians had to pay taxes for farming in their own lands. So, was India modernized in the modernized? Partially, but with a heavy cost. The modernization was neither holistic nor humane. It was not for the upliftment of Indians, but for a benefit. True modernization is based on equality, self-reliance, and national interest. Began after independence. India built its own industries, invested in science and technologies, expanded educations, and made progress in its own terms. In conclusion, colonization may have introduced some tools of modernization, it, but it was not the cause of India's true progress. Modernization under British rule is like receiving medicine from someone who poisoned you in the first place. Let's let's recognize both the influence and injustice during the colonization, and never forget India's future lies in modernization with dignity and not dependency. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Shiva. I'm gonna give chance to the first tiny speakers first. Okay, so next is Sabal Sneh.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Hello guys. My name is Sabal, and I will start with my topic. So first of all, I will recite the question once again. Would India be as modernized today had it if it never had been colonized? What if we continued under our kings? So first of all, I want to define what is modernization. Very simple definition: transition from old to new. Okay, and then I would transition from old to new. So the question is that if we ask the question, did India got modernized during the British rule? For that, the answer is clearly yes. Okay, and the another question is that what if we continue under our kings? For that, we need to do further study. So, I so if we look back at the history, British came. There was Mughal rule somewhere. There was Maratha rule somewhere. There was Sikh rule somewhere, and just like that. Okay. So British came, and under them there were some princely states. So it was a situation like this. At one side, you had states which were totally ruled by British, and at another side, you had states which were partially ruled by British, but there were no states which were 100% sovereign. For example, there were there are five states: Travancore, Mysore, Baroda, Hyderabad, and Jaipur. If we see how these states were modernizing, then we can see that Travancore was modernizing despite not being directly under 100% under the British rule. Mysore was getting also modernized, especially in technology and infrastructure. Baroda was also getting its increased strengths in education and legal reform. And but Hyderabad and the Rajputana state, on the contrary, were more traditional and rigid, and actually they were not modernizing. So yeah, my friend Vivek told very nice thing that to begin with our population our population was not as much free thinking, we can say. And people say that we got suppressed under the British, but this separation is very old one. It actually started with the Gupta rule, when we crystallized our social system, and it further deepened during the Tughlaqs and the Delhi Sultanate rule. So for that, we actually needed some education. All these reformers, for example, Vidyasagar, Ram Mohan Roy, Swami Vivekanand, all were English educated. So if English had not been there, it was a very low probability thing that they might have had come with such an idea. Okay, and yeah, so sorry for being very chaotic, but now I will want to show you how other countries which were not under British rule actually colonized. So there are many countries, for example, Japan. Japan under the Meiji rule, Ottoman Turks, Thailand, etc. They actually they actually never were under the European colonial rule, but still they modernized. How they modernized? They modernized out of the need to get power, because colonization these European countries were actually really getting power by these things. So at end, I want to conclude that if we see the industrial and military aspect, there was a 50-50% chance that we had get modernized despite getting British rule, because kings always want power. And if the kings were in the power and they were seeing that these colonies can anytime attack them, they would have industrialized them in order to get money, and from that money buy weapons in order to modernize the in order to modernize the military. And as for the social and educational aspect, the India getting modernized in the social and educational era, despite getting under the colonial rule, is actually, according to me, is 15 to 20%. That 15 to 20% is also because of the industrialization which the kings would have taken, and the people would have get education. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Sabil. We have next first timer Diptar Sarkar. If I pronounced it correctly.
Yes. Good evening to everyone, every of my friends, and the coordinator who had allowed me to speak on this matter. So I am not that much of intellectual. I might not be able to say much of the things, but I have one major question that if India was not modernized, then what did the British do for 200 years? Why did they firstly came to India? And secondly, the point is that by modernization, what do we mean? Just building factories, just democracy, and a democracy in which the poor will not be respected. A democracy where there will be division based on skin color. So is this modernization? And third point is that about railways. The railways was built only for their own purposes and just for their own depot of goods, etc., etc. And at the cost of railways, what do we get? What did we get actually? They had exploited large number of women. They had not only looted our resources, those Britishers have looted our respect, our honor, and etc. etc. So my question is, do poor people don't have any self-respect? And the another question is about sustainability. They had done industrial revolution, etc., etc., and so on, but that harmed our environment as well. And lastly, about the modernization, I want to say that the same point that our GDP was 30% of the GDP, and when the Britishers left us, we became poor with a lot of famines, which were due to their irresponsible and weak administration and their cold-bloodedness. Britishers practiced witchcraft. Britishers practiced imperialism. They looted resources. They are a race of pirates and looters. And looters cannot modernize anyone. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dipta Sarkar. Shamant, go ahead.
Okay, hello. Am I audible?
Yes, you are. Go ahead.
Okay. I'll just steer the entire conversation of the GD to another level. Uh, I'll take an intellectual quotient point of view over here. Just imagine, for the British to modernize us, we should be like uh, in the backward living standards. Just before the Britishers arrived, we had roughly 500 to 600 years of Islamic rule in India. As we all know, during the Gupta period and the following years or the following centuries, India was called the like Sone ki Chidiya. So we already had peaked over at a certain point of time, and as we all know, karma returns back. Our gradual downfall had already started. Just consider this situation, as the entire topic of the debate is also a situation based. If India was not invaded by Islamic invaders, or whether the kings of India protected India from Islam, then the entire equation would have been changed. India could have been the world superpower by now, or would have already its downfall would have started once again. And we have to also consider a fact that one of the speaker over here informed that 25% of the world's GDP was India in 1700s. It is important for us to understand that 1757 was the Battle of Buxar. That is when first the Britishers took control. Just imagine the level which India had reached even after 500 years of Islamic rule, even after drainage of so much wealth. We covered 25% of the world GDP. Just imagine the previous 600 years went great for India. We would have dominated more than 70%. Then on the technologies of what British bought in, it is a very nuanced topic because I'll use an example like a knife. You can either हिंदी में समझाओ तो तुम गला भी काट सकते हो सब्जी भी जिससे जिससे काटना चाहते हो वो तुम डिसाइड करो द सेम वे फॉर रेलवेज एंड ऑल after since we had got the British technology, the steam engine, etc., that were British technologies, we could have put it to better use. Yeah, of course, the British looted wealth from it through their ports and railways. But once we got independence, we could have put it to great use, which we haven't even till date. So, since the entire logic and topic is on situations, it would be a very nuance to declare that this would have happened for sure, and we have to also explore the possibilities of the previous and concurrent events which followed that particular event. A great example of this is the British could would not be able to afford World War One and Two without India's wealth. So if India was not, India didn't have that Islamic and colonial age itself, then the entire world power dynamics would have shifted. So with these points, I'd like to conclude my speech.
Okay, thank you, Shamant. You were wonderful. Then next we have Palak. Go ahead, Palak.
Hello, hello everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Uh, so everyone, I am Palak Kumari, and right now I am in foundation level. So, uh, firstly, I wanna thank the Synapse Society for organizing this GD. And I am really enlightened today to listen to you all. So the today's topic is India will modernized if they had not colonized us. So first, if we wanna discuss on modernization, then we have to go to the past. So let me take you to the past. So when they entered India, the East India Company, they come India as a company, uh, taking a marks that they wanna do a business over here. But then they build an army and then they just looted us. On that time also, we are colonized by different people. But that people, like Mughals and all of them, had been living here. And some parts are also colonized by Portuguese, Dutch, and all of them. Even Japan had uh, s- uh, tried to colonize us on the period when they are also building their dark empire. But I want to say that if we look at the past first, then the modernization on that particular period of time when they have entered India, we are modernized more than in the when they left us in 1947. When they left us, they don't left us. They ran away because they can't rule anymore over here because our freedom fighters had had contributed so much. Our ancestors has did so much. That's why we are living here in this free and democratic country. And still, the seeds they have won, it's still growing. You can say that you can see everywhere people still judge you when you don't speak English. Like English is something so special. If you don't say it, then you are not literate. Like English is just a language. Why is it so different? They have created a mindset like If you take the example of cricket, they have said that cricket is a gentleman's game, and we gentlemen have taken it so seriously that we are playing better than them. So you can say that they didn't modernize us at all. There are always good and bad sides of everything happens. They have when they entered India, on that time we are also colonized by Mughals in the north, and different parts has been divided into we have been divided into different parts. If we imagine that how it would be, like if they hadn't colonized us, then maybe we don't we have we still have Pakistan, that is not Pakistan, but still India, that is Bharat. You have listened, or you have may have heard about a book written by a well-known lawyer named J. Sai Deepak. You may have known about him, that he had listed there that how they had just divided us on different things on basis of religion, caste, creed. They have exploited us, and they had at that time when they had entered India, our literacy rate is high, but when they left us, our literacy rate is so low. And when our business was better when they have not here, and when they left us and ran away, then our business is means our GDP and all of that is not good. You can say that it's so bad. And they had divided us on the basis of religion, and we also got divided. And because they didn't let us read or write, they had forced us that the language they speak is good, the things which they do are good, but they copied our everything and did a patent over it. Like you may have know about the bird shampoo. Do you know what the bird shampoo's origin is of India? The bird champu. They say champi champu, and they can't pronounce it properly. They don't even wash their hairs. How modern they are. So you can say that they are not even modern. You can say see it right now also, that how they are right now. You can see at the poster over here the so-called queen that is sitting on the chair is taking our diamond on her head, and the Kohinoor. So they don't have anything at all. So, and the trains and all the people are talking about that is not modernization. They just wanna take the things from here to their country and make that prosperous. But the karma has turned, and now in the present, what had happened, you can all see that they are not as good as us, and all has been turned back. The tables had been turned back. So I think that uh, that the modernization as today's topic is that we are not colonized. I don't think so. We It is possible that we had been still we have too many too many kings, or have different type of society, but I don't think so that they had tried to do anything good for us. They just want to deliver the things from here to their country. They had killed the cheetahs. They had just make them extinct by hunting them. They had exploited everything, nature, society, people. They had they do- they don't wanna they don't want to do any care for us. They just want to take the things and take from here and use it in their own country. So I don't
Okay,
think
thank you.
that
Palak, we need to keep the
okay,
time limit
sorry.
in our mind. Yeah, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay, we have Shayam left. Shayam,
Yeah. Am I audible?
can you say that again?
Am I audible?
Yes, you are. Go ahead.
Yeah. First of all, thanks for giving me the chance to speak here. I, uh, I think India has not been modernized by Britishers. It was already modernized in different ways. Like before the Britishers, India had the a good level of architecture in form of temples. Even we were the global trade centers. Also, we were having the good knowledge of different things. But when Britishers came, they don't modernize us; they demodernize us. In some ways, like we were having the Gurukul systems before the Britishers came to India. But after when the Britishers left, they left us with the English education system. We just don't focus on the overall development. Just focus on how to make the slaves or the clerk-minded people to help the Britishers. Britishers also destroy our the Britishers also destroy our native what to say native local industries just for their sakes. And even the point that claims that they gave us trains, roads, but that was not for us. It was there for their benefits. They use the trains, the routes, just for their benefit to transport our goods to their country, just for this their profit. And also the point that uh, they just extorted us. They think of the doing benefit of India. They just want the benefit of them. So, for my opinion, they don't came to modernize us. They just came us to loot us. Thank you.
Thank you, Sham. I think everyone has spoken for the first time. I'm gonna give a chance to the second time speakers. Try to keep your arguments a bit faster so that the judge can start asking questions. Okay, so Yajneshini, go ahead.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Am I audible? Okay. Thank you for the second chance. I would like to add more points to my previous points. I again want to concentrate more on the intention of the British. For example, we had F-35, which was landed in Thiruvananthapuram very recently, and their people, they did not even trust us, and they didn't allow us to find the fault, or they didn't accept our hangar support as well. So after nearly 80 years after independence, if they don't trust us, think about the scenario when we were under them. When we were colonized by them. Do you think that they would have supported us, or they would have intentionally helped us for technological development? Obviously, no. And many had highlighted the points about women empowerment and all. So I would like to highlight some statistical points here. Sati was banned in 1829 and widow remarriage was approved in 1856. The immediate impact of all these reforms was the revolt of 1857. After that, the British understood that if we start indulging or interfering in the cultural aspects of Indians, though even if it was very backward, then it will backfire on us. So they stopped all the technological, intellectual thinking, and they started showing non-interference path towards our backward systems. So this clearly shows how British wanted to claim the legacy of helping us towards technological advancement, and it is not the real intention to help us in development. And more than that, we had the Indian Civil Service examination, which was held in their country, and even when transportation was not well developed, we had to go there, and the maximum age limit was very minimum. So that was how they colonized us, and we cannot expect them to help us in our technological development. And I would like to highlight a very important point about the Nobel Prize which we were given. Okay, so the statistics is for science, any field related to science, Indians were given Nobel Prize, but only when they colonized us. Do you know why? We were not given Nobel Prize after independence. Do you know why? Because British wanted to claim the legacy of supporting the peace for other nations, and they did not want to acknowledge any third world country developing in science and technology. It was only C.V. Raman who got Nobel Prize for science, and he was identified as a British Indian citizen, not as an Indian citizen. After independence, none of the Indians got Nobel Prize for science. We were given Nobel Prize for peace, but not for science. Don't you think that scientists like Subramaniam, who helped us in the Green Revolution and all, don't they deserve a Nobel Prize? But we were not given. This was how they helped us in technological advancement. And so I would like to conclude by adding these points to my previous points, that it was not British who developed India technologically. It was the visionaries of Indians who developed us. Thank you.
Okay, Janeshni. I would like to say that all the second time speakers, you will be getting 2 minutes. So try to crunch down your arguments under 2 minutes, or I'll have to interrupt in between. So Gopal Krishna, go ahead.
Thank you, moderator. I have quick rebuttals to Vivek, partly what Sigav Mahika and Saval said. The Vivek point was Indian rulers were not focused. It is not true. The rulers, contemporary rulers, were as much focused as Indian rulers were. So, and not a single union of India. But there is no single unit of European nations, but they are still more affluent than us. Think about it as if Hitler won Second World War and all Europe would be in single piece, it would have been more modern. I do not agree with that. And about the uh, education, modern infrastructure, and governance, I would say the British modernized India through English education and Western science is not true. What really happened was Macaulay's Minute clearly stated goal to create a class of Indians who were Indian in blood but English in taste. And the pre-existing knowledge system, Sanskrit, Persian, Arabic, and Tamil, and other rich traditions of learning were defunded and delegitimated. It was illegalized, and the access to this education was limited to tiny elite, and mass literacy remained. At time of independence, India was 12% literate, and education promoted inferiority complex also. Indian culture and history were presented as backward, while British systems were glorified. If I would say if converting to Christianity is modernization, I don't believe it is true. Now I would come to Saval Sneh definition of modernization, that transition from old to new. I think it is very oversimplified thing, because all the transition from old to new is not modernization. Look at North Korea. And also he said that Swami Vivekananda was English education along with Vidya Sagar and Ram Mohan Rai. It is not true, and that's why it is important to highlight that someone not educated in English education system can also be literate. Look at the example of Swami Vivekananda. He was not a product of English education, and that's why.
I'm interrupting. He was.
Sabal, you don't have to interrupt. You will be getting a chance to argue with him. Don't worry. You are there in the queue, so you don't have to interrupt in between, okay? Go ahead.
May I continue? Okay.
Yes,
So the greatness of Swami Vivekananda, learning English language is not English education. You can learn. People may have learned English language before Britishers arrived in India, or the little bit of English education is not English education. Swami Vivekananda, as we know, Swami Vivekananda is because of Indian knowledge system and that effect on him. So, and also about the legal and administrative reform, the British gave India modern law, civil service, and orderly administration. So the law served rulers, not the rule. Legal system were designed to protect British economic interest and suppress dissent, not ensure justice for Indians. It was racist and unequal application of law. Whites have privileges in court. Indians were often second-class citizens in legal system. Is that modernization? Judiciary inaccessible to common people. Legal language, English, and court fee and procedure were alien and expensive for ordinary Indians. We are now conditioned to think that the court as it is today is the only court and legal system, and prior to that there was no legal system. That is not true. And ICS was elite and mostly British until very late. Real power was not given to Indians. So the British legal and administrative system was about control, not empowerment. That what punishment that legal judicial system gave to the perpetrators of Jallianwala Bagh Hatyakand? Nothing. So it is also the colonial claim of
We cut
British
down
rule
your
helped
points,
reform.
Gopal.
Okay, so helped in reforming society, abolishing harmful customs and castes, etc. Quite contrary, Britishers created laws making rigid categories, solidified caste identities that were earlier more fluid. It served their divide and rule policies, exploited religious tension to maintain power. The first inter-religious riots between Hindus and Muslims happened during under British rule, not before the 600 years of history of Islam in India. So it was uh, quite social reform was a byproduct of Indian intellectual awakening, not a gift from colonialism. There was Bhakti movement and all many movements. So credit not goes to Mughals for Bhakti movement, and credit should not go to Sati evolution to Britishers. If the time comes, it will happen. So that's how Japan, Thailand, and other countries modernized, not because of Western colonialism and all. If and also they had a how much can I extend it?
Please,
Moderator.
we have other speakers as well.
Hello.
We have other speakers as well, so I think you should stop for now.
Okay, so last point, the economic critic.
Try to make it
We
quicker.
had. Okay. So we already had very important industries like shipbuilding industries,
I believe your
text.
time limit.
Okay.
Conclude in 30
What?
seconds.
Can you repeat?
Conclude fast, under a minute, she said.
Okay. So we already were pretty good in our functioning of society and nation. We had robust textile industry, robust shipbuilding industry. We were the only source of luxury products all over the world. Most best jewelries were made out of India. But what Britishers, we had metal work arms manufacturing as one of our participants mentioned wood the steel. What Britishers gave us was they first delegitimized Indian shipbuilding industry by banning them into Royal Navy after 18th century, because before that Indian ships were better than British ships, and it is not told to us. Ports like Surat and Masulipatanam declined, and thousands of skilled craftsmen, carpenter and blacksmith lost job. There was no education system, how we could manage to build ships. And then after 1847 revolt, armed production in India was banned. Smelting and metallurgy workshops were closed or restricted, and raw materials and iron were exported to England, and finished products imported from Britain. So local metallurgy declined. India became dependent on British manufactured goods, even for basic tools. But Britishers gave us indigo, opium monopolies, that we should grow opium and indigo, etc. And all of us know for what purpose. We had robust internal trade route, inland transport, but British controlled ports and disruption of local market ruined regional trade. Artisan and trader who relied on caravan trade, carvan, and religious fair and river lost business. British prioritize export over internal connectivity, except when it helped British trade, and that's why railway system was built in India, not to modernize India. And what is left over is not modernization. We could have gone so way far if Britishers would not had come. And that's how India's traditional economic collapsed. By 1900, India has become supplier of raw materials and consumer of British goods. So colonialism did not modernize India; it demolished thriving, self-reliant economy. From shipbuilding to metallurgy, every industry that could make India independent was crushed. India did not need modernization; it
Gopal,
needed.
time's up. Please, you can stop. And those who want to speak, yes, keep your hands raised. Priyanshu, you have
Okay,
not spoken, so I think you should go ahead.
thank you.
So, as I am in favor of the motion, I had to say something firstly that I think we are getting on the statement that who is great, Britishers and Indians. I see the topic of the motion is modernization is a byproduct of colonization. That's what the point. And being on the point, I had to destroy some. I had to debunk some statements. First, Gopal Krishna mentioned that Swami Vivekananda is totally a Indian. Is totally influenced by Indian system and Indian philosophies. I say he merged some Western ideas and some Western ideas and from Indian philosophies. Like he studied Kant, Mill. He also believed in the evolution theory of Darwin, individualism, universal ethics. He also believed in utilitarianism. He also believed in German idealism. He also believed in rationalism. So he rejected blind rituals and emphasizes experiential knowledge, direct realization over dogma. So that's my point on Vivekanand. Now come on to the point on the topic. I must say some arguments are like 25% of GDP share is from India. I must say you have to take a look on the population side also. We always have 25% share of population in the world. Okay, so we don't have a per capita per capita system. We are not so much rich. We are rich, but we are not so much rich. And what about holistic learnings that we are have gurukuls and all? But I had to get on a point. If you read Manusmriti, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar totally destroyed the system of Manusmriti and religion and Hindu Muslim conflicts. If Hindu Muslim conflicts are totally like waved off from India, in why it stands in today's society? We are totally liberalized now. So why it stands in today's society? And someone mentioned Islamic invasion destroyed India. So we are talking about the modernization, which basic definition, or I say little bit emphasized definition, to go from a traditional rural agrarian society to a urban industrialized technological society. Like people should be critical thinker, people should criticize to progress. So there are arguments like Western ideas influences rationalism, science, scientific temperaments, logic, and also the influence of Locke, Rossi, Marxism, communalism came that progress make progress in India. All things that are post India development, all these things are influenced by it. Most of the leaders, I also mentioned I am big fan of Bhagat Singh. So Bhagat Singh also mentioned that he is totally influenced by Western philosophy. Swami Vivekananda is also emphasized by influenced by Western philosophies. And the INC, Indian National Congress, is also started by an Britisher, Alan Octavian Hume. So I think I have a time limit, so I don't say more. I conclude it here.
Okay, I think next up we have Surabhi Shukla.
Yes, thank you. So I was waiting for long to counter one of my opponent's point. He has mentioned like India was divided into kingdom without British rule. India wouldn't have been united. So I really don't agree with this point. And yes, India had multiple kingdoms, but that doesn't mean it lacked unity. Like we have shared language, families, spiritual traditions like Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, festival, art form, and trade routes bound India together for centuries. So and also we have the concept of Bharat Varsh as one civilizational entity existed in our scriptures and political imaginations long before the British came. So I think it is my opinion that British didn't unify us. They intensified division based on caste, religion, and languages. They partitioned Bengal in 1905, and later on, when they left India, they they divided the India into two nations itself, like India and Pakistan we have right now. And also, some of the influences have already made at that time. So Pakistan has also divided into two parts. So this is the divide and rule technology what we have seen from Britishers. And it was Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, not the Britishers, who peacefully integrated 560 princely states in the India. So Indian constitution, democracy, and institutions were homegrown efforts, not colonial gift. And the second thing is that yes, Gurukul system had limitations, but the reform didn't start with the British rule, as we all are mentioned about Raja Ram Mohan Rai, Swami Vivekanand, Ishwar Vidyasagar, Jyotiba Phule, and all. So they these were Indians who fought caste and gender discrimination. So the British simply codified what Indian reformers were already advocating. As we know that the goal of education, British education, was not universal or inclusive. Their goal was not to educate the masses. They were producing clerk for their administration. So girls, Dalits, and rural poor were mostly excluded even during British rule. So, and one more point I would like to add: the unsustainable industrialization, which are impacting our climate and environment right now, because we have also followed the modernization, industrialization. So, I think it was led by the British industrial policy that caused deforestation, over mining, and population over a long period of time. And like they set up industries to manufacture goods from India, from Indian raw material, and sold those things in India at higher price. So in this way, we lost our local industries, our traditional crafts, and millions of people who become jobless. So I think today's progress is due to our constitution, not colonial policies. That's it.
Certainly. Thank you, Surabhi. Anjani, you're next. First of all, thank you, Synapse Society, for organizing these kind of events. It's really heartwarming to listen to all of the fellow BS students. I would like to conclude by adding some crisp points. First, let us talk about the definition of modernization. Modernization is about adapting new technologies, ideas, and systems to improve. I would like to quote it: improve how people live, work, and interact. But did that improve the people of India? They established railways and all other things, but for the benefit of the people of the British. It didn't affect it in any positive way for the people of India. Let us look at the growth indicators during the colonization. GDP growth, average annual growth was below 2%, with per capita output growing only 0.5% per year. And infant mortality rate was extremely high at 2,218 per thousand births. Life expectancy was just 32 to 40 years compared to 69 years today. If you look at all these indicators, it clearly shows that though they might have bought all these railways and transport and everything, it didn't affect India in any way. We were lacking and stagnating in all growth indicators. When it comes to real modernization and how India affected and grew manifold, it was due to post-independence planning in 1951 and 1990 and economic liberalization in 1991. This is when India really started to grow. And we need to talk about the situation of India before colonization. It was a thriving colonization. It was a thriving nation before colonization. It was a masterpiece. But after British colonization happened, India just got worse than previously. And I really like what some of my friends said, Sabal Snake. Some countries like Japan and Saudi Arabia got to escape this colonization and they are thriving civilizations now. To conclude that, what I say is that colonial modernization was never about progress, it was about power, and India's journey to real progress began the moment it reclaimed its voice. That is why we don't call it as modernization, we call it as colonial modernization. Colonial powers like the British in India, they introduced this modernization not to uplift the colonized but to serve imperial interests. That is why we call this as colonial modernization and not modernization.
Yes,
Thank
okay.
you.
Anjali, I will stop you here now. And I request our other members to, conclude it fast in 1 minute 30 seconds because we also have a judge question and our meeting time is going or over. So, Himanshu, you're next. All the best.
Hello guys, thanks for having me again. So now I am replying to I said about 25% of the world GDP contribution in 700 by India. So the point is when Britishers left the India, it come down to 3 to 4%. So my point was it got so drained the economy by the Britishers that we got in that situation. Now I am advancing the point what if we continued under our kings. First, the India is more culturally developed, and by the cultural development, I mean the Islam, Hinduism, Sikhism, Buddhism, and all religion. We always coexisted peacefully. Okay, there is no conflict in Hinduism. Even the if you read the statement about Jews, they are the one community who never got executed in India. Okay, or suppressed in India. Second, we have more territory. Okay, the Bangladesh, Pakistan, and the today's problem were not there if we never got colonized. Even the some states were ruled by the different kingdoms, but in the end we got to a solution where we can unite as an idea of India. And this is not the new idea. The democracy is not introduced by the Britishers. Okay, in India also the democracy is present. We never support the idea to listen to only one people. We always focus to listen the many people, many voices, and we support many voices. And the last point is there was no West lecture like today that are going by the America, US, and they possess that they are the ruler. For example, Donald Trump is act like he is the emperor of the world. So that mindset also comes from the colonization and the separation of the South nation, global South nation, especially I want to say. So thank you.
Thank you, Himanshu. Well said. Vivek, you're next. And after that, Deeptarka and then Gopal. And also one request to third time speakers, which I believe are Gopal, Yajneshni, Palak, and Palak, that you can have only 1 minute for conclusion. Okay? Go ahead, Vivek. Vivek, you can speak.
Sorry, it was muted. I was speaking.
It's all right. Go
Uh,
on.
oh, sorry. Thank you. So, like I've said, as an Indian, I think we have a problem with Indians. Whenever we get a topic related to our culture, our country, and whatever with ours, which is related to ours, we get emotional and we stop thinking factually. We just get emotional and speak on them. Like Gopal says, uh,
we have great culture,
Excuse me, it's
great language.
gaslighting. Please, no personal comments. Like in general, in like Indians are like
And
that. Please respect everyone's emotion.
I am
It's like
respecting
gaslighting.
emotion. I am respecting
Listen, listen,
emotions. I
listen, listen.
said we get emotional. We get emotional. I'm not disrespecting. I
Please
said
don't
we
interrupt. At least let him finish.
I
You will
said
get the chance.
we just get emotional. We stop thinking factually. We just get emotional and we think no, everything was right and we are wrong every time. They were wrong and we are right. That is not. We should talk about some facts like before British rule, before they colonize us, what about those who are already colonized, like the backward section? More than 50% of Indians were already colonized. They already get exploited. What about the females? They have to pay taxes for wearing the upper clothes. Like what was those rules? They have to die with their husband. What was those? What was the conversion? Why, if our culture was so good, then why people converting in started converting in different religions? That was my point. Nothing was all right. We were just thinking of British exploited us. Yes, they exploited us. Even British given us nothing. They given us a hit. That what if we don't wake up right now and start building something? In future, we will again get colonized. That's the reason we are modernized today. Yes, we are modernized for our people, because of our resources, because of our Indian minds. But British gives us a hit that we have to do something.
Time
Yes.
limit, so conclude
Okay.
fast.
Okay. So that was my point that before think about those Indians. 15 we India is not about some elite peoples. Even I am not from the exploited uh, uh, group. Like I will if it would continued, I would enjoy it. I would have a privilege to enjoy, but I am talking facts that it is wrong. It's not about the few people of India. India is not about few people of India. India is about all the Indians. More than 15% people are exploited before British also. So what about those? And after British rule, even British exploited us. After British rule, we get a hit, we get a constitution, we get everything systematic, and now we are here that everything is almost okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, now Vitarka. Can you
Yes,
please
good
complete the
evening.
correct
Uh,
pronunciation of your
Good evening. I don't want to actually counter any point. Just in general, I want to say that history is written by winners. Everyone knows that. Many of our history have been modified, have been manipulated by the British. So we are seeing through the lens of the British that the Britishers have modernized India. And about the point of caste system, the caste is derived from the Portuguese was castas, which means a class division actually. So the Britishers only increased the caste system. Before that, there were very less amount of caste system. The caste was based on people's work, not about birth, anyone's birth. So hence I want to conclude that a bunch of looters or pirates don't have the capacity to modernize anyone. They are just filthy bunch of dirts. I don't think them as human beings. Thank you. And good night. I am quitting the meeting.
why? Okay, whatever you wish. Now I think we have Gopal Krishna. Okay, Divyanshu, stop laughing.
Thank
Gopal.
you, moderator. Um, I'm going to conclude, but before that, um, I want a quick rebuttal for Priyansu's point that educate about education and modern education was not accessible to other castes other than Brahmins in Gurukul. We had thriving industries of metallurgy, arms manufacturing, construction, and shipbuilding industry. and handicraft and as artisanal. You think illiterate people were doing that? Just it was not in English, it was not education. That is not true. Caste, okay, let's not go into that. I want to conclude. If colonization modernized India, then famine must nourish and theft must be charity. India in 1700 counted for nearly a quarter of global wealth. By 1947, the figure fell to less than 4%, not because we stopped working, but because we started working for someone else's empire. This was not accidental. Railway was laid to extract, taxes were hiked to fund British wars, and over 10,000 crore was drained annually in what Dadabhai Naoroji rightly called bleeding economic wounds. This data is from Dadabhai Naoroji book, Poverty and Un-British Rule in India. Uh, Later, in a debate, very famous debate, we all know Sasi Tharoor's claims about 45
Gopal, I
trillion and all.
must say a little bit quickly, okay? We only have 1 minute.
Okay, let me finish. Uh, so the British did not build a modern India; they built an imperial supply chain, and what we inherited, courts, railways, English, were tools of survival repurposed by Indians, not gift handed down in goodwill. Modernity is not infrastructure; it is agency, dignity, and self-determined progress. And that began not under the Union Jack, but under the Ashok Chakra in 1947. India was not modernized because it was colonized. It was modernized because it endured colonization and it overcame it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Now moving forward quickly, Yajneshni.
Hello, sorry for the interruption. Can I speak next because my network is not correct? I'll change my
Okay,
network and
Palak
come. Let
Kumari will
Palak
be
Kumari
next.
speak
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Thank
Palak,
you.
go. Palak, are you here? Then speak.
Yeah, hello. Thanks for giving me the second chance. Uh, some people have said, I think my points which I had said earlier had been not reached to them properly. That I wanna say that on that particular time that it may be that we are not same as we were, and I had also mentioned that there was no Pakistan and Bangladesh. We are all one, and that is Bharatvarsh, and would India we can be like that. I was just imagining and giving an example and future how it be like and how the present be like if they had not colonized us, and how the modernization has gone if they had not exploited us. A person had said that uh, an earlier speaker so said that why do we convert it if isn't it it ours it's our and didn't do anything. I want to I want to say something about this
Palak, we
that
have a time limit, so a little bit quickly, please.
okay, I will conclude in 2 minutes. So I want to say that we don't have things like that. The region by we had been converted, and right now also have the forced conversion going on over here because we don't know about the things. We don't know about our own religion and our own history. We are a Ghanese living over here and just getting exploited by their things, and the less knowledge is harmful. You have listened that ardh gyan, the less knowledge, the half knowledge is always harmful. If we don't know anything, we just say that we don't know, and then we got converted and they are able to exploit us because they had disrupted the whole system of education. They had
Sorry,
burned
Palak,
the
but now you have exceeded the time limit. I'll have to stop you here. Sabal, you're next.
okay, thank you.
Once again, hello. My fellow mates, Priyanshu and Vivek, have very nicely put what I wanted to say. Priyanshu put forth with the point of philosophy that how our reformers and our intellectuals at those points got really influenced by Western philosophies and Western ideas of liberty, freedom, and all. And Vivek put forth the point of social realities which were prevalent as at those points, and they are prevalent at these points also. Now, what my friend Priyanshu said, I want to say that this debate, this not debate, this discussion is actually about causality and causality alone. As the question is, did did colonization caused modernization in India? They might have be having very bad intentions or whatever, but it really indeed caused modernization. For example, I told you about 5 countries. One was Thailand, another was what Japan, Ottoman Turks, and two more. Okay, so see, why did Thailand actually modernize? Thailand was surrounded by two European colonies. The ruler was very much afraid that if they don't modernize their military, if they don't modernize their military and their economy, they will get subdued by those foreign powers. And
Yeah,
so
Sabal,
it is
only 10 seconds.
I'm speaking second time only. I raised my hand.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. So see, at one hand, where we are seeing the modernization aspect in industrialization and military and becoming a efficient military. It's indeed true. If we are not getting colonized, still kings would have increased their industrial output by modernizing the industry and modernizing the army, as did the Thailand, Meiji of Japan, and all. But when it comes to the social aspect, education, equality, and all those aspects which I might be making sense to your in your mind, is that yes, the coming of British really had a better influence on it. So I want to make one point. We have heard about French Revolution, and we have heard about the thought revolution. Have you ever heard that such a thought revolution had happened in India? Do you know Europe before any kind of revolution was also like our society was deeply plagued under superstitions and all. So it was just after
Okay,
this.
Sabal, make it quick, okay?
Yeah, yeah. So I want to
Make
say
it quick.
that Europe, just like our country, was also under the influence of superstitions and all. But it was just after their Renaissance, where they started putting more value in thought and rationality, that they uh, came to know that these things are not good. So it was actually their ideas which percolated to us and all. And I'm really not saying that we are at any way inferior. When they were in their dark ages, we had Upanishads, we had Vedant, and all those philosophies which are really
Okay,
very much
I'll
high.
have to stop
And
you, Sabal.
yeah,
Himanshu is
okay,
next.
thank you,
I'll
thank
have to
you.
stop you. Go ahead, Himanshu. Go ahead.
Hello. Thanks, guys, for having me again. So, again, my point is there is no modernization. You don't call it modernization because if you are walking on a road, a thief come and loot your 1,000 rupees. In return, he stole your kidney also and then give you 100 rupees. You don't call it that it gave money to you. Okay. So the modernization was just a coincidence. They modernized India to extract the material. You can't call it modernization. India at the end, today I believe, we people believe, the people of India, we had a very good way. If the Britishers were not there, we will find out our way. Okay. Maybe it was different. And the idea of nationalism in Europe, yes, I agree, it come earlier. And even also today, they are living in a union, European Union. And in India also, we have many issues. In today's also, we don't come to an idea of the nationalism properly. But we are finding our way. Our people are confident enough to carry the point. Even the another point about women right, they have debate upon women right to vote. We never did because we believe that it is obviously to be there. So it also show the point that how we respect the women and all. The next, the say that the people Indian got emotional, every countryman emotional got emotional, bro. So you are taking that personal. And in the end, also, I want to say who are the support on of this motion. I am watching Game of Thrones now, so to put in the language of Game of Thrones, I want to say them to all, you know nothing, Jon Snow. So that's my point. And in the end, I am thanking you all guys. Okay. This is
You.
my first
Thank you,
speaking. Okay. I
Hema.
am foundational level student. So thank you for organizing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, Gopal and Yajneshani, I'll allow you to speak, but just try to make it quick. 30 seconds. Just conclude your points because then we'll be moving to the judge question as well. And if you don't want to speak, then we'll directly move on to the judge question. Go ahead, Gopal, go ahead.
Let Yajnasni speak first. And
Okay, Yajneshani, go ahead. Just make it quick.
Sure, I'll complete within 30 seconds. So I'd like to conclude my point that it was not British who led to the modernization of India. It was Indians and our intellectual thought that led to our modernization. And I would like to quote the example of universities. We had a lot of universities like Takshashila, Nalanda, even before British came. But when British came, they did not start any university except the Madras University, which was started because of the pressure given by the Congress. And we all know the comment given by Macaulay about Indian literature and Arabian literature. So I would like to conclude again that modernization was not because of British. It was due to the steps and efforts taken by Indians in that regard. So thank you.
Okay, thank you everyone for speaking. I don't think there's anyone in the queue.
Gopal
So
Krishna.
Nidhi will be. Okay, you are left. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Make it quick.
Okay. So more latter part of the debate was more focused on social issues and the role of Britishers in them. So I would like to highlight they came to reform Indian society, but by first dividing it like a school project on caste, religion, reason, and then subcategories for fun. Who needs a united civilization when you can have a perfectly labeled census? Before the British, caste was social, and after the British, it became administrative. They turned identities into columns and communities into conflict zones. The British discovered Indian diversity the way a surgeon discovers organ by cutting everything open and then forgetting how to sew it back. They introduced religious values in governance and communal rights in society. It's amazing how many peace treaties begin with a census and end with a partition. They abolished sati, but not patriarchy. They banned widow burning, but left women's voices unheard in courts, education, and property. Progress with one hand and silence with other. They educated a few Indians to admire British values and rest to serve them. You were earlier either reading Loki or carrying his books. Social reform was not their mission, and social control was. Reform can only when rebellion got uncomfortable. The British did not wake up India. They pressured snooze until 1857 alarm rang, and they taught us about civilization in the land
Conclude.
that give
Conclude
world
fast.
zero yoga and populism. Okay, I'm concluding. Last 2 points. Colonizers explaining morality to India is like pickpocketing, giving a TED talk on honesty. And they said they were uniting India by drawing borders, quotas, and community categories that still divides us today. It's like gluing a vase together and calling yourself an artist to merit. And last point, they civilized us just enough to argue, but not enough to be allowed into the parliament. British modernization was less about lifting us up and more about keeping us down politely. Actually, thank you. That's the kind of.
Yeah, Nidhi, go ahead with your questions.
Okay, so I heard all your points, and of course, colonization is not a good thing for any country. Now, I want you to think in a hypothetical situation where India was never colonized by the British, okay, and it was left the way it was. So, before British came, who were the ruling empires? It was a declining Mughal empire, a declining Maratha empire, and lots of segregated princely states. Now, I want you to think that in present day India, what changes would we have observed? How India would have transferred or modernized itself? Would this princely states or this segregated and declining empires had any impact on the political situation of India? And what do you think the present day India would have looked like had it not been colonization? Because the ancient glamour of India had gone away a long time ago. You can raise your hand whoever wants to answer it, and you have 2 minutes to think if you want to. Okay, Palak, go ahead.
Yeah, Nidhi, you asked that how it was if they hadn't colonized us. So if we imagine that situation, then I think that I had earlier said about this also, that maybe our India, it still has uh, some princely states and there are monarch going on, but we are definitely more developed, I think, culturally, because they had exploited too much, they had looted us too much in comparison with Mughals. They, as Mughals had settled over here and exploited us and lived over here, but they had taken the resources from here and gone somewhere else. The resources from India had been observed by them, and they had uh, used it so much and exploited the whole of India and the people of India. That's it. Thank you.
Yajneshni. After that,
Yeah.
Surbhi, then Gopal, Vivek, and we will end with Priyanshu. Okay? Yeah, Yajneshni, go on.
Thank you. So, for the question which you have posed, I think that technological development will be hand in hand with communal harmony. So, we know that before British came, Hindus and Muslims were they were communally harmonical, and we saw that in the revolt of 1857 also. So, this peace would have led to very developed technological development. And in the field of astronomy, India would have progressed a lot, because even our visionaries like Aryabhatta and all, we had a lot of many people. And we had one person, Raja Jai Singh from Amber, who had constructed 5 astronomical units, Jantar Mantar, and this is just an example. So, looking from this lens, we would have progressed a lot in this field. And the legacy of English wouldn't have been this much. We own the two of the most oldest languages of the world, that is Tamil and Sanskrit. And other languages also are classified as classical languages, and we could have made any of these two languages as one of the important languages. And economy and agriculture resources and all, we would have been in a better position, and we had taken nearly 80 years to become the 5th largest economy. This would have been happened even before if we had not been colonized. And so this is my point. I would like to conclude with this point. Thank you.
Thank you, Yajneshni. Next is Surabhi. Go ahead.
So, in my opinion, India with its rich legacy of advanced knowledge system, vibrant trade networks, and powerful regional kingdoms, possesses the internal dynamism necessary for independent modernization. Like Indian society has demonstrated exceptional capabilities in governance, architecture, mathematics, philosophy. So the princely state, though politically fragmented, were centers of innovation and reform, with many rulers actively promoting education. Hello.
Yes, yes, speak.
Oh, okay, okay. So the princely state, though politically fragmented, were centers of innovation and reform. So with many rulers actively promoting education, infrastructure, and progressive policies within their territories. I think I'm losing my connection.
Okay, no issue. Other speakers can speak then. Okay, Gopal, go ahead.
Thank you, Dibyansu. I am aware that there was a lot of chaos before Britishers reached India. So, what could India have been without the British? I think a likely scenario we would have followed Japan's or Thailand's path, modernizing with indigenous industries, not deindustrialization, and our economy or the share of our economy in the world economy would have been more or less around 23%. That would have been 6 times richer India than what it is today. Uh, and we would have stronger indigenous states like Marathas, Mysore, Sikh Empire, Bengal, all were centralized and modernizing power. Uh, Remember, Marathas were rapidly expanding, and it was multiple times larger empire than Britishers during 1700s. So it would have been possible that Hindavi Swaraj would have been achieved. So there may have been a united India. India may have evolved like Europe, federated as states, trading and competing, eventually uniting on their own terms like European Union and NATO, security and economic integrations. Also, organic and social reforms would have happened. Vidyasagar already existed before British support. Social reform would have come from within, not as colonial PR stunt. Arya Samaj had no role in no role of Britishers. It still existed and did what it did. Indigenous modernity also would have happened. Like we would have rebuilt universities like Nalanda and Takshila. So we valued learning centuries before Eton College and all existed in England. So we would
Yes,
have
Gopal, we
bounced back.
also have other speakers. So.
Okay, a little, few more points. There would have been no partition, uh,
Gopal,
economic
make it quick.
independence,
Okay,
and
we have other speakers as well,
okay.
and we have to end
So
this.
without economic drain, India could have built railways, institutions, and industries funded by its own wealth, like Japan did in the same century, and a confident cultural identity, not confused mimicry of British values. Should have been optional, not compulsory, and so would English. Thank you. And
Yes.
for English as
Yeah, we
uniting
get it.
language,
Yes.
Europe still talks to each other without having a united language.
Okay, thank you.
So thank you.
Yes. So, what I am basically pointing at is that do you think that these declining empires or these egoistic princely states would have thought of industrialization or maybe, you know, interconnecting India with other big players or a global market? Would they have even had this thought? Because, as we know, Mughals may have been great in arts and or not good in administration. Marathas were great warriors, but they were also lacked business dealings. And princely states, obviously, they lived like a bell in the frog. So, I want you to answer this question like this. Don't just, don't just state art or culture or history, but basic principles of modernization, industries, wars, connecting with the world, global market, geopolitics. Okay? Yes. So who is next? I think we have Vivek. And just take 1 minute to answer, okay?
Okay, thank you,
Please
Nidhi.
consider other speakers as
Okay,
well.
okay,
Vivek,
okay.
you go next.
Yes, yes, yes. Uh, like first of all, I'm going to the point where one of my friend told that we have a about my question of fragmented kingdoms of India. He or she told that we have a concept of Bharatvarsh, but it is before like do you think that Mughals will ever agree to do so? Like Bharatvarsh is an concept of Hindus, and do you think that Mughals will allow this to do? And like for industrialization and coming to the point, like I want to say that what if India would not have colonized? India might have pursued their own way, like their way to industrialize. That we have many gems like Jamshedji Tata and all. They have they must have like helped India to grow, but uh, yes, they have like our industry will have grown, but at not that pace. We have grown like slowly. We have grown slowly, but not at that pace. And like I have told, we have divided in fragmented kingdoms. We won't have a one India. We have divided in fragmented kingdoms, and we also don't have democracy. That's the important point. If we have never colonized, we will never have a democracy. We would never had a democracy. We have a autocracy where few elite peoples, few elite family have the chance to rule. No other can convey, no other religion, sorry, not religion, other uh, caste or people get a chance to rule. But now democracy, it allows us all to rule, uh, and it will have a
Okay, Vivek, you will
autocracy.
have to stop. Okay, it has been 1 minute. You have to make your answers quick. That's how you get your points.
Okay,
Okay,
like
so
ultimately, I
Priyanshu.
want to say that.
Okay, we
Okay.
have got your
So,
point.
so towards possibility of decline, I think there should be a fragmentation after Mughal decline, because Marathas are fighting, Sikhs are fighting, Nawabs, Nizams, Rajputs are fighting. So there would be is not a centralized modern governance. They most were feudal, patrimonial, or could have slow progress, or don't have modern laws, or it can lead us to political instability and infighting. And second thing, we missed industrial revolution, because India risked it for kings. Instead, lacked the capital, scientific mindset, political stability to industrialization alone. They are good in art, culture, and these things, literature, but they are lack capital, scientific mindset, and political stability for the growth. And third thing, if India was not colonized by Britishers, India is too weak at that point. It will be colonized by French, Dutch, Portuguese, because India have rich resources and have much weak military in it. And other point is, the Vivek put it, traditional elites, aristocrats, orthodox Brahmins or feudal rulers, they resisted reforms. There is also a support of Britishers for reforms. I'm not totally in support of it, but orthodox Brahmins, feudal rulers, the social evils take long to solve. They might have lasted longer. And the other thing
Okay,
is, we
conclude,
don't have a
Priyanshu.
unified identity. Okay, okay, okay. So I'm done. I completed it.
Okay, thank you. Sabil, go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much again for yes. It would have looked kind of chaotic and depressed. We would not have been as equal. Mughal rule was based on exploiting the caste lines. It would not have looked much a united India. Mughal rule was based on exploiting caste lines. That I say because still they were Muslims. Still, the majority of the courtiers were from certain parts of the society. So there literally existed caste system, and that caste system was very much visible in zamindari system and all. Okay, so that no democracy, no liberty, no socialism. States would be controlling everything. So now the question will be that why we won't be getting into the Japan path? It is very unlikely because Japan, unlike India, before taking the Meiji part, was already very much educated. But India to begin with was not that much, and we were not educated, so we won't have gone to that path. Rulers would become industrialists because these rulers, these princely states would see that through TV, through social media, would see that not through social media, initially through radio and newspapers, would see that the people in America and all are very much thriving. They are really reaping the benefits of consumerism. So our princely states would also think of taking this industrialization there, and this industrialization would be very much exploitative in nature. And yeah, so industrialization definitely happened because these princely people would want to reap its benefits. So it would lead to inclusion of television. Now people will see television and they will see that the
Conclude,
situation of
Sabil.
people outside our country is very much. Uh, please let me say, yeah. Hello,
Yeah.
hello,
Yes, conclude yourself. Just make
hello.
it fast.
Yeah. So see, the people of our India as princely states are, as princes of princely state getting educated in Oxford will bring industrialization in India. We will get television and people will see television and people will see the situation of people outside India. Now, two things it will happen that people will revolt against these princely states. Sorry, why I'm saying princely states? These rulers, and or they won't revolt against those rulers. Revolt against those rulers are Pew Research because Pew Research clearly shows that in present state
Sir, but
also
you have to
Indians
stop
are very
now.
much in. Okay, okay.
Yes. Okay, I think Anjani is next. Palak,
Yeah.
you have already answered, so please lower your hand. And Himanshu, you too. I'd like to say that though Britishers have looted India and did all the nasty things, we still have picked up ourselves, through liberalization and globalization that happened in 1990s, right? Though India had declining Mughal empires and Maratha empires, we still had that resources, we still had that culture and land where unique spices and everything go. Definitely we would have grown in manifold, but we would have not faced the laws that Britishers made. We would not have faced 45 trillion wealth drain. We would not have faced the looting. We will definitely have grown because India proved itself after colonization also. We are on ore. We have become a sovereign nation, and how we have grown through liberalization. This would have happened the same as it has happened with Japan. Japan grew organically, and this is it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Anjali. Himanshu, you have already answered to one,
Thank you,
right?
everyone.
So
Sure has.
go ahead, Neem. Go ahead.
Okay. So, with today's discussion, we can certainly conclude that Britishers did not bring modernization to India, but all the toxicity, all the prejudice, all the stereotypes led to India becoming a global power today. And yes, they did help us in connecting India to the entire world through navy, through ships, because previously we had only used navy for defense purposes, not for trading. And I think we can end this conversation and we will share you the scores and the selected participants who have succeeded to the next round tomorrow. Okay. Thank you very much. You all did well, and it did went a bit off topic at some point of time because some people went to the ancient part of India, which was thousands and 500 years before British even came here. But I guess that's okay because we all are learning here. All the very best. It was a great discussion. Samriddhi, if you want to say something.
No, I think you concluded well, and thank you for joining. I'll be turning off the recording now.